Boys, we finally did it.
Yeah.
We finally made it.
We're here.
I think we recorded a podcast every week from the start of the NFL season to now.
We did it.
Are you cheersing?
Yeah.
My glass is now empty though.
Well,
I've got
a Coke.
Spirit.
Morrow's got Spirit and you got a glass. So cheers to that.
I mean, I've got a whole actually here.
All right, let's go.
Cheers.
Let's go.
I got bottles everywhere here. It's disgusting.
Have we ever gone this long without missing a week though?
I think we did miss 1 week.
Did we?
Yeah, I think there was 1 week that we did miss.
I think we missed the picks, but I don't think we missed the
This has been a really consistent stretch. I'm proud of me especially.
We're doing great.
No, this is good, man. This is good.
We're on a roll.
Mm-hmm. And this is probably the last week that we can actually hold ourselves accountable to recording during the week because we have to get the picks out before the NFL.
We have no reason to record from here on out. It's just this is it.
Everything was time sensitive in the past because of
Yep.
NFL, and now that this is gonna be the last one, we're gonna drop the ball, but
Yeah, it's basically
at
gonna
least
be
with
like
forewarning.
yeah, it's basically gonna be like
Expect it now.
It's gonna be like, oh, is the Leafs playing during the middle of the week? No, well, maybe we can record then.
What day works? What day works? Monday, Tuesday,
What
Wednesday,
day
Thursday.
don't
The Leafs
they
are playing
play?
this day, and then
Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday. Ah,
yeah.
hello, Chi. But obviously it's the Super Bowl preview. What number is it? 55?
Yes, 55.
I guess, man. Like
Yeah,
L,
no,
I assumed it was
55.
50.
L5 is 55.
Chiefs try to go for back-to-back for the first time since what? The Pats did in 02, 03 or 01 or like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So that's huge. Brady's going for 7.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That is nutty. So not a big deal at all. Right now, Chiefs are favored -3, -3.5 some places. How do you guys feel about this?
I think it's gonna be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a matchup I wanted to see. Like I didn't want to see the Chiefs in it again because it's just boring. But it should be a good game given the fact that the Chiefs are so offensive centric and the Bucks have been so good on defense all year. It's just it should be a good matchup.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not one I wanted to see.
This is a very easy to hate matchup just because it's literally you either love Tom Brady or you hate Tom Brady, and
The lesser of two evils.
Mahomes is evolving into that kind of mold where you either love Patrick Mahomes or you hate Patrick Mahomes just because of
Right.
the
You
same
hate us
thing.
because you
Seeing
hate
them
us.
there. Exactly.
Hate us
You see
'cause
them
you hate
Peanut butter and jealous.
Yeah, for real.
This movie.
I'm really excited. I picked this from the get-go. So
Mhm.
I was like, to me, this is like does the torch get passed on or not? Like
Mhm.
this, I mean, it's the teacher versus the apprentice, right?
I think that the torch has been passed already, but like, yes, you're right.
But this is like the
No,
in,
you're
in
I understand
yeah,
what
like
you
the
mean.
Super Bowl.
The informal
and
passing of the
everything,
torch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I've been talked into this game like more and more as the weeks have gone on, just because. So originally, I thought after watching the Bills versus Chiefs that the Chiefs were just gonna run away with this because when that offense is humming, good luck stopping it.
Yeah.
But then, like looking at it, let me look up quickly. Kansas City, like they haven't been unbelievable on
No.
offense
No.
in a minute.
no,
Their past games, let's see, they put up 38 against the Bills, obviously 22 against the Browns. The Browns, whose defense is not as good as Tampa,
No.
obviously.
No.
They lost to the Chargers in week 17. Not like it matters.
No.
Chiefs only put up 17 points against the Falcons, 32 against the Saints, 33 against the Dolphins, 22. Like they're just not as impressive as it seems just because you're playing off of recency bias.
Based on the names, like you just expect them to be way better than this.
Mm-hmm. And coming in from last week, I was totally dead set on hammered the Chiefs, and now I'm a little more cautious on it.
Mhm.
I'm still leaning that way,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I'm becoming more cognizant of the ways that Tampa Bay can win the game, because I assume that it's just going to be like the typical New England, like run the ball and control the clock, keep them off the field. Like it's simple stuff.
If you're
Mhm.
Tampa and you win the toss, you take the ball, right?
I
Yes.
would think so.
Yeah.
I would.
But
you
then
give
again,
yourself a
like,
chance
Tampa.
to score first and control the game a bit.
I think so, but also you can totally talk yourself into put your defense out there, make a stop
Make
early.
a stop.
And then
Mhm.
you get
Get
the
in their head
ball, and then
quick.
you're literally laughing.
Yeah.
And then in the last
Yeah.
like 5 minutes, you can you can take a long ass, like in the half, you can take a long ass drive, and then you can double down of score at the end of the first half, and then to
Yeah.
start the second. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
Clock
Especially too,
management's-
if you do get the kick, like if
Mhm.
you receive the ball to start and you don't score, and then you end up
Mhm.
getting down, and then KC gets the ball again to start the second half, like it doesn't look very pretty.
I think clock
Yeah.
management is going to be the key in this game, because
Huge.
honestly, before Patrick Mahomes, all of the bugaboos around the Chiefs was
Mhm.
Andy Reid's clock management, and that is
Yeah.
bad.
Mhm.
If Bruce Arians can play like the better coach,
Yep.
play call better, just control the game better than Andy Reid, I think that's good enough for them to win the game, because that's the game path. Basically, you have to be able to keep the Kansas City defense out there, because it's the worst unit on the field.
Yeah.
And then force Kansas City to be like, oh, you're going to be limited to this number of possessions. You better score on them, or else you're screwed.
Mhm.
Because then if you get stopped as KC, like you're in a hole already at any point in the game, because you expect Tom to go put up points every time he's on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. It's going to be interesting because, yeah, like you mentioned, the worst unit for me going into the game is Kansas City's defense, and obviously you want to establish the run game because it's such a crucial part of Tom Brady's
Mhm.
offensive, just how he operates. And I mean, you get Fournette bouncing around on the outside and Rojo up the middle. Like, it was very, very
Yeah.
prominent in their approach to Green Bay. And again, like Green Bay, a lot of people had Green Bay going in that game. So
Mhm.
you get that early possession and you score on it. I think it sets a new sort of precedent for how the game could go, because again, like, Chiefs score early, they score often, you're chasing the game, run game shut down, you're forced to pass, it becomes predictable, it plays right into the trap that Kansas City wants you to, and it's not what happened last year, but they were able to overcome it against the 49ers. So again, it could be an interesting dynamic depending on how things go early. So really excited to see how that goes.
You're right. The key, like, can Tampa get that thunder and lightning that they had like last week, to where Fournette looked great on that touchdown run?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was his longest in years, which is hilarious because it's only a 15-yard run, but he was making guys miss.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
like, if he can do
Huge.
that, then that's massive against a defense they're okay. Like, I know that
Yeah.
they've been one of the better defenses in the league at points, but like, in terms of names, like, they just don't scare you compared to
Yeah.
looking at Tampa Bay, to where Devin White on Travis Kelce's probably the matchup of the game, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Or you could convince me of JPP against the left tackle that is
Mhm.
now replacing.
Zemmers?
Yeah. Oh, Mike Remmers.
Remmers,
Isn't it?
sorry.
Yeah.
Remmers.
And then you have KC dealing with the COVID issues that they are.
I heard about
It's-
that today, actually.
It's going to be really interesting.
What was the
And-
deal on that? Something about the team barber
Mhm.
midway through them
Mhm.
doing like a team scheduled haircut.
Yeah, Mahomes
tested
and stuff are
positive.
supposed to go get his haircut and stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder what would happen. Like, say Patrick Mahomes is out with COVID. They have to postpone it at that point, right?
Stop the count.
Do they?
I think you have to, man. It's a Super Bowl, dude. Like, you
But
play
like
as
all
the-
that planning that went into it, I don't know if you can.
What plating though? It's not like there's like it's not as
They
big of a
flew
deal.
in like 7,500 people.
No, I understand, but that's not as big of a deal as if it was 50,000 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how it normally is.
Okay, but if this is any other season, and say Patrick Mahomes breaks his leg in the game before the Super Bowl, you don't postpone the Super Bowl.
Correct, but one is a
Why is this
preventative. One is preventative. The other is
Right?
not.
So is this if you do the right thing.
I mean,
Like if you're
hey,
Patrick Mahomes, you shouldn't have gone anywhere in the past 2 weeks. Like you have your shit come to you, and people do it for you.
homie's got to look fresh. I'm sure that the guy comes to them, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm sure that it was league sanctioned though, having the guy
Kansas City
come
is
and
showing up on
cut their hair.
Saturday. By the way, they're not even going. They haven't been there
Right.
yet. They're showing up on Saturday for this reason, so that they don't have to deal with it.
so that they can't get COVID in
Yeah.
the meantime.
Yeah, they hop on a charter. They don't have to spend any time there. They quarantine in their own
Mhm.
house until then. If you caught it, it's your fault. It's
Yeah,
pretty
like
much all it is.
I know Alabama when they played in the national championship in Miami, like they flew in I think the Saturday or the Friday, and then they were just like they're not flying in. It's not like flying in the week before and they're
No.
doing the whole media day and
No.
stuff that they normally do.
No.
How are you? What are you guys feeling? How, like, what's the matchups you're looking at? What's your guys' picks for the game?
I still want to know if Patrick Mahomes is healthy. Like I know he looked fine in that Buffalo game, but like this is a very different defense you're going up against. It's going to be a different game plan for you. Is he like a concussion aside? Like is his hoe okay? Like is he ready to go? All that type of stuff.
Is
Even
this
with
whole
the-
okay?
Are his hose okay? Is his toe okay? All that stuff.
I heard what Amir heard.
I was like, excuse
Is
me.
his hoe okay?
Yeah.
All that stuff. Like, is he able to be the Patrick Mahomes that we've seen in the past, or is he still reeling a little bit? I'm assuming he'll be okay, but like it's one thing to watch for, I think, especially
No.
with a defense that's that good.
No, you're right because exactly he's gonna have to move around more. Sorry, but Buffalo's defense isn't.
They're not great.
It's not as
They're-
imposing as the guys
they're a-
that are in Kansas City.
They're a good defense. They're
Yeah.
a good defense, but they're not like Tampa Bay level defense.
No, like they have good players on
Yeah.
Buffalo's defense, but like
But it's
there's
not
no
the best
one that
secondary.
A lot better. On
it's not
Tampa.
the entire unit
No,
that's just
it's
dominant.
more their secondary that's really good in Buffalo as opposed to what Tampa
right,
is.
right.
For me, I'll take us through a couple of matchups I really want to see, and a lot of it is Tampa Bay's defense going up against this high-powered Kansas City offense. Definitely, we mentioned it before, Devin White versus Travis Kelce. It's so hard for any team to go up against this Kansas City offense and be able to successfully lock down both Kelce and Hill.
Mhm.
It's going to be the toughest
Choose
test
one or the other.
for them. And I mean, this is two teams that played each other week 7. It was a 3-point game. Like it was really, really close. So that, and obviously we mentioned it before, as a Giants fan, I have to give a huge shout out to JPP. I'm rooting for him too.
Mhm.
Great to see him back in the league and doing well. So yeah, I'd like to see him put in a couple more sacks this week.
I
Okay.
think Chris Godwin and his gloves is a matchup you want to look out for, because if that man can't hold on to balls this week, it's not going to be
Right.
pretty.
Fair
I think
enough.
okay, so here's the thing. I think usually week to week,
Mhm.
Kelsey's the more dependable guy.
Mhm.
But the one weakness that Tampa Bay does have is their secondary at some point, like the corners.
Sometimes Yeah.
Mhm.
And I could absolutely see Tyreek Hill just go off.
Burning.
You got to double team Tyreek, right?
But
That's the
Like I
thing.
know, I know Kelsey can beat you, but you
Yeah.
got to double Tyreek.
I agree. But the thing that you maybe if you're Tampa Bay, you feel better about is that your pass rush gets home, and then you don't have to deal with
The deep
Mahomes
yards.
having
The
enough
deep
time
ball.
to then get the ball deep.
Yeah.
True.
I think
That was kind of what we saw against Aaron Rodgers too, where
Mhm.
he wasn't able to develop. He got one. He got MVS on the long ball.
Mhm.
So, and that's just a matter of play creation, right? Because that was Aaron Rodgers scrambling out of the pocket and making a play on
Making
that.
stuff happen.
And that's
Mhm.
going to speak to Brandt's point: is
Can
Mahomes
do that?
healthy
Yeah.
enough to go and venture out of the pocket and create a play?
Mhm.
Now we've seen him do it. It's not a matter of can he. It's just is he physically able
Will
to
he
this
be?
time
Will he?
around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's will he health wise, but also will he defensively because they're just
Yep.
in his face.
There's a lot of factors going against him right now.
What's you guys picks for the game? Because I want to talk about some of these props and stuff.
Like
You
it'd be
guys know
stu-
where
I'd
I
be
stand.
stupid. I'd be stupid to say Tampa Bay, but I want to say Tampa Bay.
I
It's
want
like-
Tampa Bay to. Do we all agree we want Tampa Bay to
Yeah.
win?
I don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Kansas City win it again.
I'm
More
never.
of- more
I'm
of the
never
Giants.
rooting. I have a very long history of rooting against Tom Brady and bringing up everything in the past about Tom Brady. I want him to win this time. I chose it from the beginning. I've rolled with Tampa since the start. It's not
a
going to
cool
change.
story. It
Yeah.
really is.
Can we
Yeah.
talk about Tom Brady for a second? because I've seen a lot against Tom Brady being the GOAT the last few weeks. Like ever since the Rodgers and Brady matchup came to be, they're just
Why?
like, oh, Rodgers is the greatest of all time because
I think
like
Rodgers is
he-
the most talented QB of all time. I don't
Okay.
think he's the greatest. QB
no,
of
see,
all
I
time.
this
agree
is what
with
I
him
mean.
there.
So
I agree with him there.
everyone's treading on Tom's numbers because his defenses were so good, and that's why he won Super Bowls. But it's like he has the individual accolades too throughout the season. Like he's got the most or the second most
Mhm.
passing touchdowns of all time. He's up there in yards. Like if,
He's gonna
if your
pass for-
argument, if your
he's gonna
argument
pro-
are that his championships don't count, you can't tell me Michael Jordan's the best or the greatest of all time too. It's like that type of argument. You either take both of them or you take neither of them. You're either a Rodgers and LeBron guy or you're a Brady and Jordan guy.
I don't even know if that's necessarily true because, like, so here's my thing. I think you're just incompetent if you're just saying Brady's not the GOAT like QB of
Mhm.
all time. Just because
It's a lazy argument.
it's a lazy argument. I think that what
Mhm.
Rodgers can do at his peak, like if you put him on any of those teams, I think he has the greatest success.
Yeah.
But like to
Yeah.
be the greatest player, you have to be a part of
Like
like
to win.
it's a team. It's a team sport. There's 53
Mhm.
guys on a roster. Like it matters what you guys can do collectively. And Brady not only like Brady, this isn't a denigration of him at all. He's the
No.
greatest game manager of all time.
Yes.
Being able to control the game is an incredible thing. Like people would
He-
shit on Alex Smith, but Alex Smith would make the playoffs and stuff.
Yeah.
Brady's just like he's the greatest player of all time
Yeah.
because he's been on the greatest teams. Like
He
He's-
is probably the smartest quarterback we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
don't
I
think
think
it's close. His football
you
IQ is
took the
night and
words
day
right out of
above
my
everyone
mouth.
else. Even
Mhm.
Pat Mahomes,
Like-
like I think Pat Mahomes is great, but he's not as smart as Tom Brady.
He's I mean, I can only speak to however many quarterbacks I've seen since 1997, but I mean, Tom
Yeah.
Brady by far is the best IQ'd quarterback I've ever seen,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
6 rings. And I do want to speak to the whole discrediting now of Bill Belichick that we've heard. At least I've heard this past
Ridiculous,
week
man.
where,
Yeah.
oh, well, look, now it was all Tom Brady. After all these years, we all figured out that it was just Tom Brady
It's
and
like,
it was
no,
all
it's-
because of him. Like,
It's
it,
like
no, it
it
takes
was the
2 to
perfect
tango,
marriage.
right?
Exactly. It was the
Yeah.
perfect
Yeah.
marriage.
I
And
think
same
Tom Brady had a bigger hand in it than Belichick did, but you needed
Well,
both
yeah.
to win that many
Yeah,
championships.
exactly. Like
Players are going to go out and say, hey, at the end of the day, the coaching will lay the foundation for you to be successful. But at the end of the day, you're the one that's taking the hits. You're the one that's throwing the ball. You're the one that's catching it. You're the one that's making the toe tap in order to get it in there. Yeah, like it takes 2 to tango, right? And
Hey.
at the end of the day, say whatever you want about Tom Brady's athletic ability because he's got failing grades in every single stat category when it came to his draft combine. But I mean,
Brilliant quarterback.
success speaks, right? Like he's had a career where he's won 6, and you can't say that it's all for nothing after just because he's had good defenses. No, it takes very, very intellectual things on offense to get that done too.
you don't win those first 3 Super Bowls without Bill Belichick. The later ones we can talk about, but like
Mm-hmm.
Belichick was the greatest player on those teams, if we want to say, like in the
Mhm.
Rams, Eagles, and Panthers Super Bowls. Like Brady wasn't the quarterback that he was in 07 when they lost to the Giants. What, 11 or 10 or 12?
That
when they
was
lost to the Giants again.
2008,
Like, he wasn't that
2007, 2011. Yeah.
Yeah, like he wasn't that QB, that level of QB at that time, and then obviously against the Seahawks, Falcons, Rams, like those are I saw the stats of like Brady's had 3 different careers, and he has the first 3 Super Bowls. He was not the player that he was
Mhm.
in those middle years of his prime,
Yeah.
and just like he is now, he's not the player that he was back then. He's a
Not the player
smarter.
that it was
he's
3 years ago.
Exactly. He's a smarter player than he was then. He knows his body better. He's not going to throw it deep like crazy.
Yeah.
But he makes that friggin' play to Scotty Miller, and that literally won them the game to end the first half last week. They
Yeah.
don't make that play. Aaron Rodgers doesn't need a touchdown at the end of the game, and then you have Green Bay probably in the Super Bowl. But yet Tom Brady's like, "Hey, let's take a shot here because we have it. Our kicker's probably not making this deep shot, so like let's go deep." He burns them, and then I just don't. It's a lazy argument to say he's not the guy.
Mhm.
Yep.
I think he also just brings the mentality. I know like that's its own kind of cliche where it's like you got to have the mindset, but like it just came out like today or yesterday where one of his teammates was crying because they made the Super Bowl, and he's like, "What the fuck you crying for? We haven't even done anything yet."
Mhm.
Right? Like even for me, like I'm just happy that they're there because I picked it right. But like for a player who's never been there before to be like, "Yeah, wow, this is awesome," and he's like, "What the fuck you talking about? Like we haven't done shit yet." So I think he's just got that charisma, that persona that just
Mhm.
helps dictate
Guys
more
rally around.
success.
I mean, it helps that Brady's been to the Super Bowl more times than Rodgers has been to the postseason.
Right.
But
Did you see the stat? It's more likely that Brady like
makes a Super Bowl.
the Super Bowl than
Steph
Jordan
Curry.
makes shots or something.
Is it
Like,
really?
his field goal there was something.
I know
ridiculous.
there's one on Steph Curry's 3-point percentage, and like Steph Curry has one of the best 3-point percentages of all time. But like, it's more likely that Tom Brady makes a Super Bowl than it is that Steph Curry hits a 3-point.
Okay, so change that to Michael Jordan making a shot
I forgot
since
that
he's
number.
been in the
It's
league.
nuts.
There was one that I saw. It was like it went through. I think there's been 50. So there's been 55 Super Bowls, and Tom Brady's going to be in his 11th.
Yeah, he's been in like 6. It's like
Yeah, he's been in like something stupid, like 20 percent,
yeah.
20% of Super Bowls.
Whoops.
11 out of 55. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
20% of all Super Bowls have featured Tom Brady. Like that.
It's
Like you can't
insane.
write that shit.
And I hate the argument that people are like, yeah, but he lost those Super Bowls. So what? So what?
He was
You would
still,
rather them not make the Super Bowl? Like this is going back to the Jordan
Mhm.
argument, but like when people are like, "Oh, Jordan 6 rings, 6-0 in the finals," it's like, what? Would you rather LeBron not make the finals in those years that he wasn't going to win against the
Yeah.
Warriors? Like, what? Why? Made no sense.
Mhm.
No, you're good now, Brent.
because it's still
yeah,
delayed for me.
Oh no, you're good on mine. So you guys are both taking the Bucks, correct?
Yeah.
Like if I'm picking it, I'm taking the Chiefs, but I would rather see the Bucks.
Right. I agree with Brant. -3.5, I'd still bet the Chiefs on that. You guys want to know what the biggest bet, like the biggest lock for me is in this entire so I'm just looking at some of the props. Yeah. Tom Brady to throw an interception. That's like guaranteed. It's guaranteed.
Real
It's
good at it.
It's -175. I think that's like a guarantee.
How many did he throw
pretty good.
against Green Bay? Like
3.
2 or 3?
3.
Yeah.
Guarantee. He does it in the Super Bowl. Like it's fine. They could still win.
Yeah.
But
Do you know the highest percentage prop bet is the one that's like a touchdown to be scored within 1.5 yards, basically. It's happened in like 85% of Super Bowls.
Just a
Crazy.
1 yard punch in.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I never really thought of it. Like you don't really think of it at the time, but like apparently it happens a lot.
A lot.
Interesting.
Did you guys hear about the weekend?
Oh, putting in $7 million of his own dollars.
Fucked out a
How
lot of
cool
money.
is that?
Yeah. I mean, that's what the Super Bowl doesn't
Mhm.
pay a lot.
No.
It's just a promotional thing.
Mhm.
That's what I was just saying to my brother. Like, it's a really good marketing play for him because, like, if you kill
Yeah.
this performance, a lot of people are going to want to come see you because, like, look how good he was at the Super Bowl. I want to be there for that type of thing.
Yeah.
But $7 million's a lot of money to put in a marketing campaign.
How much could a Super Bowl ad for the halftime show be?
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah,
at the end of the day, he's investing in himself, right? It's a
Mhm.
matter of he wants to make the show as good as it can be featuring him. And with COVID not being able, hindering the ability to go, with a full choreographed choreographed group rather.
Yeah.
And the whole show that we've seen in the past. Good that he's investing in it. I know it's tough that it's coming out of his own dime, but I mean, it's his show to put on, so that's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah. He doesn't want to get the Maroon 5 treatment where you're now synonymous with, like, one of the worst Super Bowl halftime performances of all time. So, you mean, if they're under budgeting it and you think you can do better if you want to chip in your money and look like a legend, smart.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Should be. Hopefully it's good now, though, because, like, you don't put that much money into it to have a shit show.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. I think it'll be good.
Mhm.
He's got the hits. I ain't
Yep.
worried.
I'm interested to see how he goes about it, though. Like, do you go back to the old hits or do you play some of the stuff off his new album?
I
like,
would
where-
assume you play the hits, but then also like you got to sprinkle
Bit
in
of
the
mix, right?
yeah. MVP. Who do you guys have?
Major
cop
Tom
out.
Brady.
I was gonna say, is it a cop out to say the quarterback?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have fun and say Mike Evans.
You want me to have some real fun?
Yeah,
Jason
sure.
It's not a bad one. No, it's honestly not a bad one.
Andy Reid. No.
Oh, you know what's
And-
another good one? Oh shit. you
Nicole
can't-
Hardman. That'd be a good one.
Okay, wait. Let me look at the MVP odds. Wow, they're not even showing me it. Crazy.
Yeah, they might not be up till this weekend.
Oh, they are. There we
Are
go.
they?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire is an interesting one.
That's
At
the
plus
MVP.
3,300.
He's kind of been irrelevant on that.
No,
team
I
lately.
know, but like he's just a good player. Plus 3,300.
Sure.
I mean,
Ronald Jones
those are
plus 5,000.
if there was anybody that deserved it last year, aside from Mahomes, it would have been Damian Williams,
Right.
in my
And-
opinion, at least.
Is
No,
Rojo
so-
playing?
I think so, isn't he?
He hasn't played in like 3 weeks.
I want to see Antonio Brown play. Like, I think that would be so
Mhm.
cool to see it because, like, I don't know.
Speak of them. If you're a Steelers fan, you're hurting. You're hurting. Bell on one side,
Good.
AB on the other.
Yeah,
That's
this is
rough.
great. Great. Fuck
Uh,
those guys.
I could see an Ndamukong Suh getting like a ridiculous sack turnover. Plus
Like a-
12,500.
That's a lot. That's a big stretch though. That is a super underdog.
JPP fumbles, forced fumble, and
Exactly.
recovers it
No,
for
no,
a
that was-
touchdown. That's what I would be banking on my JPP
Yeah.
pick.
We're looking for like a Von Miller type performance.
I literally bet $1 to win $126. I think that's a fair.
Jesus.
Yeah, JPP plus 4,000 is interesting.
Wow. So $1 gets me 400, if my math serves me correct.
Plus
41.
40, yeah, $40.
41.
Rather, yes.
So no, your math doesn't serve you correct.
Now, what about Harrison Butker, the punter, at plus 12?
Coffin corners them 3 times.
Right.
I'd love to see it.
How does Ndamukong Suh have the same odds as Harrison Butker?
Because the chance
Straight
of
field
either
goal,
of them
man.
making a very, very, show-stopping play is
I don't
The
know.
odds of Sue
slim.
being a difference maker in this game is pretty low.
Is it actually?
It's pretty
Well,
low. Like
relative to-
even like if he makes one big play, that's just one big play.
Even if he's the one that forces the fumble, if he's the one that's not recovering it, it'll go in their deaf ears, unfortunately.
And Ndamukong Suh scores the touchdown.
That's what it takes. Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. I think
But
that's
then-
worth plus 12,500.
But if Butker puts up 3 field goals, he's now 2 more points than Sue put
Okay,
together.
so no, but if Butker's the only guy that scores, then he probably
then he
should
gets the MVP.
Yeah, probably.
If it's like a 9-6 game and it's only field goals, the race
Yeah.
should be between the 2 field goal kickers because
right, or the punters for having to punt.
lacing it all day long.
It's a 3-0 game. This is like
Imagine
Pat's
the
Rams.
MVP going to a punter.
It's Pat's Rams 2 years ago.
Jesus,
It'll be
was
that
great.
type of snoozer. I think it'll.
I
be a
hope
good game.
not. Imagine all this
deserve
hype
a
on the
good game.
offense and Tom Brady, and it comes out to be like a 10-7 game.
We deserve to have a good game.
What are the chances we see back-to-back
Long year.
interceptions to start the game after talking about how great these quarterbacks are? That'd be fucking crazy.
Be great.
They're both going to pop off 4 picks.
Hmm.
Yikes. Yikes.
So is that all we have for really the preview?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that goes through what's.
Hey,
to
what
come.
color's the
only other
Gatorade?
thing- Oh yeah, I think we should all put in what Gatorade.
That's my
color,
favorite part
regardless of the
every
team.
year.
I'm gonna go yellow, regardless of the team.
I think it's got to be orange.
Can I look up the odds at least?
No. No,
right, I
no.
got
You
it.
just got to guess without the odds.
Orange is the favorite
Oh,
at plus 160.
is red second?
Red is second and plus 165. What did Morrow say?
Yellow.
Lime, green, and yellow is plus 330. Clear is plus 650. so
Water.
water.
Right.
Blue is plus 800.
Blue, really?
Purple
Hardly
is plus
see
360.
blue.
Blue was dumped on Belichick a couple years ago, I think. So it's a little tasty at plus 800.
Mhm.
I
You're a
mean,
degenerate if you bet on.
that's, I got $100 on blue Gatorade.
Degenerate gambling with Gatorade odds at the
If you're
freaking
betting
Super
on the
Bowl.
Gatorade,
I
you
was
got to
listening.
go to meetings, dude, because you've
Yeah.
gone too far.
I was listening to Bill Simmons podcast, and he had this Pats fan on. Not just Bill Simmons, duh. And he was talking about how he bet the safety in the Super Bowl, and it was when Tom Brady got sacked for his safety, and he
Oh
was
my
at a
God.
party, and he just started celebrating, and everyone was so confused. Why is this dude going up? Because it was plus 4,000 then, and then
Plus
now
4,000.
it was well, it
Man.
was a ton, like or 40. It was
Wow.
a ton because like it never happened until the year it happened, basically.
Wow. Imagine hitting on that for any
yeah.
bit of money.
I'll take red then. I'll split the difference and say because it makes sense because they're both red teams.
Mhm.
I don't understand how that's not the favorite actually.
I think like orange is the most like refreshing on
Oh,
the
I
sideline.
agree. I agree. I don't like red Gatorade.
Like I like yellow.
Red.
That's where I go. I don't like red at all. But like I feel like if you're looking for like refreshing, get me going,
Yeah,
like
like
energy type of thing, orange is the play.
Orange.
Orange is always the play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Orange Gatorade is great. So is that it?
Then I think it's it for the Super Bowl.
I think for Super Bowl, that was it. The only
Not
other
for
thing I
football,
wanted to- Yeah.
Oh, what else? Oh shit!
Rams are thinking next year already.
It's crazy.
Hey. Matt Stafford, 2021 NFL MVP.
No.
I can see it
That's
Okay, so here.
They
Okay,
still run the ball too much.
so
because
the Rams trade Jared Goff and 2 first-round picks. I think the picks are 22 and 23, correct? Like
Yeah, because they don't have
Yeah.
this year's.
2021 and 2023. For Matthew Stafford. The trade is basically 1 first-round pick for Stafford, 1 first-round pick to get off Jared Goff's contract,
Was there not a third in there as well?
and a
Yeah,
third-round pick.
was it third? I thought
Correct.
it was a second.
Yeah.
Third this year, I think.
Yeah, because that's all they have left.
Mhm. This is interesting because what the Rams are basically doing and what they have done is they, instead of taking the gamble on first round picks, they've turned them into legitimate players, which is interesting because you take the gamble and the risk away. But the problem is that you're not getting these players on cheap deals, but at least you're hitting. And I think because of how much they're spending on these high level players, it's
Mhm.
hurting them from the actual players that they have on defense already. Like they've been losing them year after year. I don't know how much Stafford really moves the needle for me.
Yeah.
Because if you look at, well, I think he's an improvement on Jared Goff, absolutely.
Significantly.
But when does Matthew Stafford do all his work? Garbage time.
Because he's a garbage team. Always.
What?
He's had one good player on his team in his entire career.
And what'd he do then?
And he fucking made him the best receiver of all time.
Oh yeah, he made Calvin Johnson the best.
No, but he one guy he ever had became the best receiver of all time. I like Matt Stafford does some incredible shit with the football.
Uh-huh.
I think
Yeah.
he's going to be huge on a team that has a great defense, is going to put him in great field position all the time, that already has a run game that features Cam Akers, who look incredible down the stretch. And it's Darrell Henderson, right?
Yeah.
Darrell Henderson, who was great to start the year. It's their run game's there. They have Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. They're both good NFL receivers. They're going to be a good team. I think Matt Stafford pushes the needle enough for me that they're going to look a hell of a lot better than they did this year. And at least he's got that consistency, whereas Jared Goff, you never knew what you were getting.
I think they're the favorite in the NFC West for sure now.
I think it pushes them past Seattle for sure.
I don't think it's insurmountable, but like I do think that they're the favorite now. Because like before, what was the problem with the Rams? Always it's Jared Goff. I don't believe him.
Mhm.
Do I believe in Matthew Stafford as my quarterback to win a Super Bowl? No, I don't. But
he's never proven it, right?
They've been there with Jared Goff. That's the thing.
Exactly.
If you can do it with Jared Goff, there's no reason you can't crush it with Matt Stafford.
I think the defense was significantly better then than it is now.
They were the best defense in the NFL this year, were they not?
I don't think
They were.
they were.
Yeah,
Were they?
they were.
Mm-hmm.
I just
But again, it's the matter of the offense. The I don't think this year's defense was as good as the Super Bowl season
Yeah.
No.
or Super Bowl final season. But
Yeah.
I mean, still, like, I think we hit it on the head where the whole deal with the Rams was how far could Jared Goff take you?
Mhm.
You've seen Gurley with the 3-prong attack of Cooks at the time,
Boyd,
Cooks, Wood, and Cup. And now, I mean, you lose Cooks, but again, like Cam Akers looked really good.
Mhm.
And I think it was just Jared Goff's inability to evolve and just read the defense. Like it's just
Jared Goff isn't a
that.
good QB.
Yeah, like, and it's sad
He
because
can be, but he's not
he's-
consistent enough to be.
I think he's a league average QB. At
he's
best.
not. I don't want to say he's a bust, but like from
He's Andy Dalton. Is it Andy Dalton?
Nah, he's
QB.
better than Andy Dalton.
I don't think so.
He's when he's at his best, he is way better than what Andy Dalton is at his best.
Not Andy Dalton now.
But even at Andy Dalton's prime, he wasn't really anything.
I mean, let's compare.
They won some games, but like they never looked that good.
I mean, as we're looking this up, just a quick side note, like Jared Goff was their 2016 first round pick.
They haven't had a
And
first round pick.
They haven't had a first round
Crazy.
pick since, which is going to be now 7 years at the end of this trade. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23.
Unless they come in,
So it's going to
unless
be
they
like
make a deal
7 or
something.
8 years of not having a first round pick. Like, this is a very ballsy and gutsy move for the Rams. I mean,
But
he's not
you're
old
kinda
per
locked.
se.
You're kind of locked at all
Like,
the
Stafford's
positions.
not
you
old
want
by
to.
any means. Like, he's only 32. He's still in a prime age for a quarterback who, by all means, you know, put him with any sort of competent receiver. I mean, he didn't have Galladay at all this year. I felt like,
But like,
and
where,
he can
if
work
you-
some magic.
I know Matt Stafford's not the youngest, but realistically, all the key spots right now, like you're kind of set a little bit. Like you've got Aaron Donald pass rushing, like he's the best in the league at it, and then you've got arguably the best secondary player in the game in Jalen Ramsey,
Yeah.
and then Matt Stafford locks you in at quarterback. You have 2 wide receivers in Woods and Cup. Like you really don't need a ton of first round talent right now. You just need those supporting guys that are going to get you through, which you can go spend money on a little bit in the offseason. I don't think I don't think the loss of first round picks hurts them as much as people are making it out.
Okay, who would you take in the NFC over the Rams right now? Then
The Bucks,
This is going into next year.
Correct.
the Bucks.
Well, that could depend on a lot of factors. right?
Packers, Rams.
Packers.
I would take the Packers.
Rams.
Still,
Hey, what's Aaron Rodgers doing next year though?
I mean,
Because he does not seem
This
happy there.
is assuming we get no huge,
If nothing huge happens,
changes.
then it's the Packers.
like, okay, presumably
Rodgers
Rodgers
and
goes
Adams
back,
still on the team,
go
yeah.
back. Brady goes
Alexander's
back.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like, I think between Packers,
cool-
Rams, Bucks, and I don't know which other team,
Saints.
maybe the Saints, but even the Saints. So
depending on what happens with Drew
Mhm.
Brees.
I think he's
One
gone.
of these teams could get Deshaun Watson, and then we're just like
This
the
team,
The
Yeah.
freaking Redskins can get Deshaun.
But I think
Watson, the Redskins-
these three
The
teams, these
football
three
team.
teams make up the four out of who could be the final 4 in the NFC, right?
Right.
The Packers, Rams, Bucks, and one other
If the
team.
Panthers get Deshaun Watson, I'm looking them as a playoff team that could handle the Rams.
right. Mhm.
Like they had the youngest defense in the league, and you add Deshaun Watson to a team that had 4
You add
guys that
him
went over
to-
1,000 scrimmage yards.
You add them to the football team, the exact same thing.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
very good
Their
defense.
defense is already elite.
49ers, the exact same thing.
49ers just need to get healthy in their back.
Dare I say it? But the Giants, I mean,
Okay,
same
they're
thing.
not getting the. They're not. They're what?
I've
Would
heard
they do
it. I
Daniel
know it
Jones?
happens.
Daniel
I
Jones
know
and like 3 first rounders.
It'd be tough. But he's right though. If they get him,
No,
they're in
right.
the mix. He's
Like,
not wrong
he's,
there.
he's that big of a playmaker.
I still think
and
the Giants need weapons, but yes.
They could use
weapons.
someone.
but he-
Saquon's.
No, he's a difference
Saquon
maker.
coming back already makes you a better team. And
Adam
then-
Schefter's been saying it. He thinks it's the biggest offseason for QBs to move around.
And I heard Derek Carr that
Yep.
Vegas is going to be looking into moving him or exploring options. Like,
Yeah.
this is a very, very
Matty
big
Ice,
window for anybody who's looking for a QB.
Matty melted ice. I guess we use now, but
Apparently, him and Julio are going to be back for next year.
Yeah, they're not being
That's
traded.
what I heard. So this could be a really interesting development come the off
Gardner
season in
Minshew?
terms of this musical chairs of QBs.
Yeah, I like Trevor Lawrence, but
Minshew, he's out of a
don't-
job.
Yeah,
Dude, his numbers last year though, not terrible, but
No,
his team
he's-
record was terrible.
he's a bad. He's a competent
If you give him
NFL
an
QB.
offense, if you give
I
him an
say
offense, he might. I would take him over Teddy.
I agree.
I wouldn't be upset if they traded for him and used
more
him over
interesting.
Teddy Bridgewater.
It's more interesting.
Like even Dak,
real happy
Dak's
they didn't pick up
deal, like,
fucking
what happens with him. There's so many questions about QB. Just
You can
the
talk me into
QB.
Dallas being good next year because
Mhm.
is
They
that
looked
offense was
great
unreal.
on offense under Dak, and then they looked good on defense after Dak left after those first 2 games. So who knows?
The NFC is wide open.
Yep.
Because
But it's
Saints
still
aren't
Tom.
gonna be
It's still Tom Brady's playground until he proves that he's too old.
till he's washed. You got to give him his due.
Yep.
All right. Let's move on from the NFL then. What are we talking about next?
Hockey.
Nice.
Go for it. What do you want to talk
Do we want to start with the Leafs or actually no? I want to start with the Rangers.
Most let's start. Let's hammer it with the most pressing bit of news, shall we?
Oh my!
Funniest news.
Is that it coming?
The Tony D'Angelo story is great. Just
Mhm.
like from start to finish, has this guy's career taking this downswing just been hilarious because like
Mhm.
he did it to himself.
Yep.
And like everyone's gonna look at him and be like, "Oh, this is cancel culture at its finest." Like the guy's just don't look at his off ice performance, blah blah blah. Man, he's fighting his own teammates.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit how good he is on the ice? Everyone hates him there.
Yeah.
There's no defense for that. Like,
not
how
a-
are you gonna defend a man that his own teammates don't like?
The only thing I ever defended him on was that he's
Yeah.
Italian, but now it's gone. Like it.
No,
I
here's
can't
my thing.
sympathize for him anymore.
Oh,
Like
here's my
I'm
sympathy.
biased to anybody who's Italian in any league just because whatever. Like it's
Mhm.
a funny joke, but like, he sucked this year. Like
He's been
this
terrible.
to the day he got waived. New York
Mhm.
had given up 16 even strength goals. He was on for 9 of them.
Yo,
I know
you can
that.
deal with people being a piece of shit
Yeah,
as
Yeah.
long as
absolutely.
they're great.
As
Michael
long
Jordan
as
is
they're good in the
piece of shit, but he's the best.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like Tony D was good. He had more points than Quinn Hughes last year, more goals.
2019, 2020, Tony
unreal.
D'Angelo was a very good NHL defenseman.
Yeah.
This year he came out flat-footed, he
When-
didn't play well at all, and then he's starting
and
shit
he's
with his
being a shithead. Yeah.
Because he wasn't paired
Mostly.
with Mark Stahl this year, but nobody wants to mention that.
Oh, so you're saying Mark Stahl is good?
Mark Stahl's
Well,
good defensively.
any
Oh, okay.
any stay-at-home
He's a babysitter.
compliments an attacking defenseman that likes
So-
to.
He
so
was
what you're-
Morgan Riley's Ron
So what
Hainsey.
you're saying is,
Yes, I
so
was
what
gonna
you're-
say you said
so
it. Nice.
what you're saying is the Leafs should get Tony D'Angelo and put him with Jake Muzzin. Is that what you want, Morrow? Is that what you want?
No,
Is that what you want over
If,
Justin Hall? Is that what you want?
if
No,
if this was Tony D'Angelo, the player, then yeah, why not?
The person, no,
But
get the
because
fuck out of
Tony D'Angelo is such a piece of
I
shit in the
don't-
dressing room, I don't even
Yeah.
care what his political views are. If you want
Right.
to be an
Yeah.
idiot and not believe that COVID exists
like,
and vote for
aside
Trump
from-
and do all that, fine. But if you're a piece of shit human being
You're
in the
just
dressing
annoying,
room, who
yeah.
your teammates hate
it. No
you,
one likes you.
why the
exactly.
fuck do I want you on my
What was
team?
what was the story? So it was the overtime goal Georgiev
Yeah.
let in.
I
I don't
took
know. what
Sidney
happened.
Crosby. Oh my god. Oh, so bad. I let in the goal to the
Apparently-
greatest player of our generation.
Apparently, there's a miscommunication on the goal between D'Angelo and Georgiev, though.
Okay.
I didn't see it, but I heard that something happened between the two of them.
So Friedman said basically after the game, they're in the locker room. Georgiev is sitting down, dejected and stuff, and then D'Angelo comes up to him just talking shit, or not even talking shit, but like he just said something that rubbed him the wrong way. And then, well, probably just talking shit. And then Georgiev just clocks the dude, and then they get into it.
Which
Um,
apparently he's like the most down to earth human being you'll ever meet. Like he is a saint. And if he's popping dudes in the dressing room, you have
know the,
problems.
you know the Georgiev story, right? Like
A little
during
bit.
the lockout a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
When Steve Dangle was covering the KHL, he literally made like a fan group
account for the show he
on
was on, right?
Facebook. Yeah, a fan account, and now he's the starting goalie for the New York. Like that's
Crazy.
such an unreal story.
Yeah.
That and then you have this shithead picking on him. Like
Yeah.
Noted racist got
Yeah.
suspended multiple times in junior, already been on 3 NHL teams in his career, and like this is the guy some people are still trying to defend.
No
It's great.
one likes
And then
it.
the burner account story. I don't know if you guys have actually followed
heard
that.
Oh, that's
The
so weird.
Rangers
That's my favorite
fan,
thing of all
Rangers
time.
fan. I don't,
Oh
and
my
then sequence
God.
of numbers. Yeah, I've heard.
Oh
about
my God, it's so great. Like, how are you this obsessed with Tony DeAngelo? Even if this isn't his burner, how are you that obsessed with Tony DeAngelo that you need to defend him anytime something happens? It's like, oh, this is great. I love every part of it. I'm so here for it.
Because I'm interested to see if a team does give him another shot. Because I mean, I was reading teams are interested. I mean, from a talent base, last year he was really good. Like he put up like nearly 60 points. Like this is a guy who can be a top power play QB for any team in the league that doesn't have already a stud North defenseman. So
the good news here is that there's no sensible move that the Leafs can make that would bring him in. So we don't have to worry.
No.
It's fine.
At least need forward.
I don't think they can afford for that kind of ego to get brought in and that kind of personality to get brought in. So,
with Wayne Simmons on the team?
Oh, we could talk about what.
What's the thing? Like, we've just spent this entire offseason talking about the Leafs bringing in veteran guys to really cool the heads of the young kids and get their minds in the right sense. Like, this would be the last thing I'd want to try and swing that a completely opposite direction. So,
On top of that, you have one of the most notable black players in the NHL, and you're bringing in the most notable racist in the NHL. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it was ever
Wayne Simmons is not afraid to beat someone's teeth in.
Right.
It's not a move you want to make.
There was the interesting thing in Friedman's 31 Thoughts, basically saying that the Penguins are desperate for defense. They asked on Mete. They asked on Travis Dermott.
Dermott, yeah.
But like, where's the fit with the Leafs? Like, and
Who
Penguins.
Cares? Who cares?
Like, they should have just sent
if you can get picks, they have no picks available right now, which okay. But if you can get a second or a third and like any sort of piece for Travis Dermott right now, be my guess because it's addition by subtraction.
If they were interested now in Dermott, they were definitely interested, at least for the Penguins, they were definitely interested at the time in which they traded for Kapanen. I would have thrown Dermott in there as just like a little, give us a Coke machine back and we're good.
Well, I don't know about that.
Zach Aston,
whatever, a fourth or a fifth round pick, like at this point, like he's not even in the lineup.
Zach Aston Reese. He's hurt for 2 more weeks, comes back, doesn't have to hit the quarantine, or he hits the quarantine in Canada, but he can't play anyways because he's hurt. Waits through it, and comes back. He plays on your third or fourth line. He's better than anything we have on our fourth line. Maybe not Jason Spezza, but it's a fit. It's the same cap hit. Like, I just think, like, if you lose Travis Dermott, it's addition by subtraction only because you have Mikko Lehtinen behind him, and you have Rasmus Sandin behind him.
Here's my thing.
A puck in the head.
I think it's if you trade Dermott, then you're just closer to my nightmare. Closer to Martin Marincin getting into the line.
No, that's no nightmare right now. We got Vancouver 3-game set coming up.
I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying though, because
this is
still
his
on the Leafs roster.
Yeah.
He's like 9D right now. Like he's not anywhere close.
Hey,
but he scored against Vancouver last year,
right?
He only scored against Vancouver, and we have the Vancouver run coming up 3 games straight. Give him a chance.
Yeah.
That offensive weapon, give him a chance. But no, you have Lehtinen and you have Sandin behind that, and then you have Liljegren probably before Marincin, I would assume. And I'm pretty sure there's another name in there. Like Hollowell still exists. He's above Marincin in the depth chart.
Is he? On your depth chart?
On everyone but Sheldon Keefe and what's his name?
Mike
Kyle
Babcock?
Dubas is he's fucking 2 on Mike Babcock's depth chart. You kidding me? There's more options. I don't mind letting Dermott. I think Dermott's a great kid. I've never had an issue with Dermott the person. He just doesn't fit on this team anymore.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
What else was there?
What do we think? Oilers though. We took 3 out of 4 points in Edmonton, and they go out and go completely ballistic on Ottawa.
Yeah. Why is it that we're the only team that can beat Ottawa? Why are we the team that looks like shit against Ottawa? Like, I get that they were missing Shabbat in that game where they got slaughtered. So that's a big hit for a defense that already has no defenseman. But it's kind of weird that we're the only team that actually struggled with them so far. Everyone else has cleaned them. It's weird. But McDavid.
It's a pretty good player.
Points in a hurry.
Pretty good player.
He was like 2 points clear of Marner 3 days ago, and now he's about 25.
Deep. Could skate.
Did they take a stranglehold on the NHL lead in points?
Oh, they're not even close anymore.
Oh my god, I'm pretty sure it's 10 points. So McDavid's 10 points ahead of third.
He was 2 points clear of Marner like 3 days ago. We took 2 days off. They played 2 games, and now he's 10 points clear. It's insane.
Dude is unreal.
It helps that the two of them put up power play points like it's nothing because they were still minus. They were both minuses in that first game. 6 points each. Minus players. It's great. Did you guys see Kerfoot went down?
No, I didn't.
So he's day to day. Yeah, he's day to day. He might not be playing tomorrow, but they ran out the line rushes. They had Wayne Simmons on line 2. I like that. I think it's cool. It's a good fit. But 3 in the third line at practice.
Adam Griff?
No, Jimmy Vesey on the left, which
Okay.
And the right. He's on one wing, anyways. Pierre Engvall in the middle and Ilya Mikheyev on the other side. That is prison for Jimmy Vesey, dude. Like,
I don't know. You just tell them to go be a grinding line.
Yeah, but that is the line where offensive rushes go to die.
And defensive rushes, good luck.
Go to die. Because nobody comes in our end, but we keep it they're the neutral zone line.
Yeah.
They're the neutral zone. I don't want Pierre on that line. It should be Spezza, VC, and
I don't care.
Anyone else.
I think Barb not being in the lineup is kind of sure. Nope, he's Barbanov until
he earns the A.
Fucking do something. Like
he's got to earn the letter in his name right now.
Like my Shaq and Charles thing. Do something on the court and make me say your name. Like, what the fuck is this guy?
He's a fourth
literally
liner.
Done absolutely nothing, and he still draws into the lineup night after night.
Tell me why Engvall isn't. At least Engvall can kill penalties. What the fuck does Barabanov bring?
He's a fourth liner.
I mean, the first game they drew Barabanov out. It was the straight swap for Adam Brooks. And what happens? Brooks scored. Okay, let's keep him in the lineup. No, what does he end up doing? He took him out.
Unbelievable.
In fairness, Brooks also didn't look good in that game. He scored, but he didn't look good.
I don't care.
A Jason Spezza pass off his foot.
I don't care. It's still happening.
I wouldn't put him back in, but I don't go back with Barabanov either. I think Anderson and Boyd look better. I think they deserve. I think they should just be rotating because at this point, it's the fourth line.
I think Boyd's a decent fourth liner.
Yeah, I think they're a fine fourth line on any of them, and I think you just rotate them so that they're all playing a little bit, so that if someone goes down like Kerfoot, you have an option. But when your third line option is now Pierre Engvall, who has the exact same skill set as Ilya Mikheyev, which is not good in the offensive end, it doesn't look good with Jimmy Vesey.
Hear me out. What if they're Go Tanks on a line? That they're just going to fuse together like in Dragon Ball Z and create this just unbelievable force that when you combine two of them, they turn into Connor McDavid.
They learn how to shoot. They can shoot the puck.
What if?
If one of them could, if Ilya Mikheyev had any sort of hands, the guy would put up 100 points a year because he's so goddamn fast. But he cannot do anything with the puck.
He can't do anything 5-on-5, but believe me, as soon as he touches the puck on the penalty kill, holy shit, he gets into the zone
so quick. And then he just can't do anything with it. If you gave him Jimmy Vesey's hands, that guy would be the best player on our team. Hands down. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's just a rough line. It does. I'm not looking forward to that tomorrow if that's what they're going to run out there. But I saw a lot of people hating on the Simmons. Actually, I only saw one. It was the fucking editor in Leaf. Worst account on Twitter. But he was chirping how Simmons is on the second line and how that's bad. I'm like, the hell has this guy done wrong in his time here?
Nothing.
I mean,
he's been
great. He scored in like 3
goals in the last 4 games.
We literally
Right.
brought him in to be a presence, a
And you're
physical
paying him
presence.
$1.5 million and
at
he's
1.5
scoring goals.
million, and he's scoring goals.
Like, what do
Yeah,
you
like,
want? from-
Him fine. Like
Yeah.
they're like, oh, he's only got a 38% expected goals per. Yeah,
Who
he's
gives a
playing with
shit?
some
But
scrubs.
he's still scoring. He's
playing with
What
scrubs.
do you mean?
I don't care if he's expected to score less goals. He's scoring goals.
Yeah,
Like,
you
at
play to
some
what do
win
you
the game, and he's
What do you
helping you
want
win
for
the game.
1.5 million?
some
Yeah.
point you need to stop looking at solely analytics and be like, okay, I get it. He shouldn't be doing this good, but he's doing this good. It's literally the story of the Islanders.
It's to say that's basically my argument with Justin Hall. He's playing first pairing D minutes. You're paying him $2 million. What more do you want from him?
He's doing everything he can.
Blood.
Everything.
Simmons is doing everything though. Like he's been good on the power play. He's been good 5-on-5. He's scoring. Sure, give
Right.
him time on the second line where you're playing with 2 all-stars. Why not?
Yeah.
Who's your next option? Fucking Mikheyev? I'd rather see Simmons there every day of the
We've seen that
week.
before.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We've seen
It's
that
ugly.
before.
And it's been
Mhm.
bad.
hmm
It's awful. When you're going down on a 2-on-1 with William Nylander, there's only one option there. There's no one
This
to pass
way-
to.
With instead of John Tavares being on the boards and having to crash and play like get in the dirty areas, you have Wayne Simmons to go there on a
Yeah.
line. So then he's
in
either
the
net
slot,
front-
the one that's
exactly.
scoring. Yes.
Exactly. Like, what are we doing here? It's because
Yeah.
every time in that line, it's Tavares that has to go in deep and get the puck back.
Uh-huh.
that's
Fish
stupid.
it out and get it to somebody
Yeah.
who will miss the net.
Exactly.
And it's
Stupid.
painstaking to watch.
Mhm.
I agree.
I'm here for
Yeah.
it. Winston.
Yeah.
I didn't have this written down. Can we discuss Morgan Riley?
Sure.
I would like to know where you guys stand on what he is for this team.
He is an offensive defenseman with them right now, but makes great
Big
in
gap.
in odd man rushes. I think he makes great plays of like you see Dermott try to do it, like the sprawling plays to stop a
TJ
pass
Brody
going
does a
across.
lot. He's really good at it though.
He stops those cross ice passes, and I think that's where like sometimes you see some of his value. I don't think that you notice him on defense as much as you do now, opposed to like a couple years ago when he would make like he was just an unbelievable defenseman. He's more of an offensive defenseman at this point. in
Is
my
he our
opinion.
is he our new Jake Gardner?
I don't
Like
think
in terms
so.
of the fan base's reaction around him right now?
I don't think that the fan base is really against him.
How
He's
much
been
did you
here
go on
too
Twitter
long.
after the last game?
He's had so much shtick over the years that I don't think it warrants him being the next Jake Gardner. No,
Are you saying
I
this?
agree with you.
Are you saying this
He-
because Justin Hall is the new Morgan Riley?
No, because he got
like he is. at least
He was
for-
crucified on Twitter last game by like the entire fan base, both sides of it. And I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from? It's like this Morgan Riley's never been a defensive stalwart. That
No.
guy is not known for playing defense. He's known
Mhm.
for scoring, and he's currently on a pace that would be the second highest pace in his career. So what are we talking about? Like why is the trade Morgan Riley thing kicking up all of a sudden?
I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, am I
Like-
concerned about next year when his contract's up?
Yes. It's going to cost you a lot of money. Or he's going to walk. I don't think we get him back. I think he's gone. But this is a guy that I would have put as my captain literally 2 seasons ago or last season or whenever it was.
I think 8x8 is fair for a
Yeah.
guy like Morgan Riley. I think he
scores-
could get more.
He's at
I
least
don't
a
know about that.
50-point
honestly.
guy.
Do you think Morgan Riley gets more than 8x8?
what did
don't think
Pietrangelo
so.
get?
More than 8?
He's not Alex Pietrangelo.
Right.
I love him, but he's not Alex
Roman
Pietrangelo.
Yossi got 9, didn't he?
You got to let him
He's
hit free agent.
definitely not Roman Yossi.
Roman Yossi.
Yeah. It's a different
Roman
tier of
Yossi's the-
defenseman.
Arguably the best NHL player.
As soon
or
as you
NHL
get
defenseman.
anywhere north of 7, you're talking about a different caliber defenseman. And it's going to be hard to justify paying Morgan Riley when he focuses so heavily on the offensive side of the game.
Plus, he
Yeah.
likes it here.
That's just my take.
Well, you look at
He wants to be
offensive. Look at offensive defensemen though. What long-term contracts has worked out?
None of them. Brent Burns looks good.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Brent Burns looks like he's kind of earning his money a little bit this year. Not
How many
fully.
more years do you have left?
Too many, obviously.
I think
But-
another decade.
Yeah, he's I think it's 6 years after this, 5 or 6 years after this. It's not great. Don't get me wrong, but he is playing back up to what he looks a lot more like Brent Burns this year than
Correct.
he did last year.
Correct.
But that's it. Like Drew Doughty's not Drew Doughty anymore. Eric Carlson's not Eric Carlson anymore.
PK's not PK.
PK's definitely not PK. Jake Gardner's not even Jake Gardner anymore. Like, not a lot of offensive guys make.
Like Torrey Crew looks really good right now. Talk to me about the end of the contract. Justin Falk, he looks unbelievable now.
Who knows?
But I don't know about when the things that you can take advantage of when you have your legs, and then you can take advantage of things that you just can't later on in your career because
you
lose
need
them.
your skating, especially with Morgan Riley. He's so reliant on his skating abilities. You don't
Look
really
at
know
PK when he can't skate now. Like, look at the difference that made for him.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
Quinn
not
Hughes
looking-
is a guy that he's going to be unbelievable until he just falls off a cliff.
Mhm.
Cale Makar, we'll see.
So I mean, the only guys making 8 or more. Ooh, that one hurts. You're looking at Erik Karlsson. So let's just like when they signed their deals, is Morgan Riley currently better than when these guys signed? Right? Karlsson,
Nope.
Doughty,
Nope.
Yossi,
Nope.
Subban. I could argue maybe.
No.
No.
He won a Norris.
Subban had a
He
Norris.
won a Norris. Yeah.
Oh, that's fair. You're right. Petrangelo,
No,
OEL.
maybe you can argue.
Maybe. Like, he was really good when he
I'll
signed
vouch,
that deal.
I'll vouch for Riley.
I think that one's tight.
It is.
John
Yeah.
Carlson.
If OEL played in the Toronto market, then maybe it's different. Well, but maybe he's unreal then.
Mhm.
Like maybe he
Yeah.
gets the
Yeah, you're right.
He's even like
Yeah.
exactly. So it's
John Carlson,
No.
Brent Burns.
No.
This one maybe Jacob Trouba. I
Yeah.
think Riley's more proven than Trouba when Trouba signed it.
it's a tough.
He hasn't been good since. They're close. I think even that one's close.
Two different players.
Yeah, and there's only one more guy that's making 8, and that's Thomas Chabot.
I'd rather have Shabbat.
Chabot also signed it at he's only 23 now.
Exactly. So you have him for those elite years.
Yeah. So that makes sense. And then below that, like Victor Hedman, he's not worth Victor Hedman. You
No.
can't tell me you need to make
No.
more than Victor Hedman, even when he signed that. Shea Weber signed
He's
it
not
when
Shea
he was
Weber.
young.
He's
When he
not
signed
Shea
that deal, he still might not even be Shea Weber. You're right.
No.
Jared Spurgeon's one that I think we might be coming closer into what,
I'd rather have Spurgeon.
Yeah.
and then
that's
Ryan
what
Suter.
We're starting to get into
didn't
already.
realize-
Like,
when
some of
did-
these names.
When
These
did
are all guys
Spurgeon?
that play
No,
defense.
this is good. I think we're getting into the range though. It's good because like
This is
I
now
didn't even
kind of where
realize-
you're at.
I didn't even realize Spurgeon was. Nick
But I
Gaskell's
feel like
development
we're getting
as
into the
well.
stage now where some of these names are a lot more defensive centric and not just
Exactly.
so heavily reliant on offense.
Yeah.
What,
So would you go like Chris Letang range? Because he's just below there at 7.25.
when did he sign that?
I think
Chris-
I was
few
going to
years
mention the name Letang. He's, I think, a very comparable player. Obviously, Letang's got the injury history,
Right.
and
I think
He
he's the
signed that in
right.
2014.
Morgan Riley's the left-handed version of Chris Letang. I think that is fair-ish. I think Letang's proven it on a bigger stage, so I'd probably rather have Letang. But
I want to say that Riley's been healthier,
fair.
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's true.
But then again, Morgan's been hurt.
He's been hurt.
Yeah.
I can argue that he was better than Vlasic when he's better than Vlasic when Vlasic signed his.
Different player, but yeah.
yeah, different version of a defenseman.
Like we're a long way down this list now. Like we're into the 6s. So
And
I
there
think if
hasn't-
you're getting any
There
more-
hasn't been a definitive guy that you're just like, yes, I'd rather have Morgan Riley.
Yeah.
over him.
Well, I can keep going because
Yes, do it.
Brent Seabrook.
I'd rather have Morgan Riley.
At the time he signed it,
At
though,
the time he signed it.
Maybe.
Yeah,
it's a multi-cup winner.
Right.
Overall,
I'd rather Provorov.
Ryan McDonough.
That's a good one. I think
Mark Giordano.
Gio.
Tight for me. The same style of player. But Gio's 100 years old.
Yeah.
Torrey Krug. They're the same
For his
player
small
for me.
build, he plays pretty
Yeah.
physical, which I don't think Riley has.
He's also a turnstile though.
But he's also unreal on the power play. Like he's such a better player on the power play than Riley is. And
What
if we're
the-
talking about
Morgan Riley's numbers are incredible to me. That guy went from like just straight passer, never scored any goals, and then he popped off for I think it was 24 the 1 year and 72 points, and then now he's right back down to like 2 or 3 a year.
And I
Where
like-
what a weird year. Like, I
Yeah.
understand, like maybe like a couple more goals. Like he more than doubled his previous career high in
Yeah.
goals, and then just has not been that ever since. He's got 1 this year, 3 last year. It's nuts. Justin Falk,
Riley.
Cam Fowler,
Riley.
Keith Yandel.
Riley.
So I think now we're in the list of
Mhm.
guys that you're like, yeah, Morgan. I mean, Ryan Ellis
Ryan Ellis.
contract though.
It's an
Josh
unreal contract.
Josh Morrissey, Johnny Boychuk, Tyler Myers, Eric Johnson. Like that list right now,
And
I would take.
what's
Josh
the
Morris?
figure we're and what's the figure we're at right now?
So we're now at
Nice, five
6
and
on the dot.
He's
That
$6
to
million
me, that to me is
defender.
what he's worth.
So
So
I would
8
say
by
he's
6?
worth 7 because it's a different time than
Sure,
when
you can
all of those
argue.
guys signed.
But
And-
then I can argue. But then I can argue, flat cap, baby.
You're right, but like
Thing. I think he
the
goes
guys on
in
that list,
between
like we're
that,
talking
right?
about.
I think
Johnny
he goes
Boychuk.
more for 6. He goes more than 6. I don't think he's worth more than 6.
I don't think he. Toronto's in a spot where they
Spot
can
where
give
they
him
can-
more than at least more than 7. You cannot go
Yeah.
north of
No,
7.
I agree.
Anything
But they'll find a way.
over that is crippling.
Like I would much rather.
I don't want to lose him.
I don't want to. Yeah, but I don't want to lose a guy like Zach Hyman either. You know what I mean? But you're gonna have to lose those guys.
But like those guys are replaceable to me. Like obviously, you're never going to find a guy that does what Zach Hyman does at Zach Hyman levels.
Mhm.
But like he's a filler piece realistically, and you can find those anywhere in the league. And like that's been what Pittsburgh and Chicago and teams like that have had to do in their runs because like they're
Right.
great. Like guys like Nick Bonino, great player in that run, but like you needed to lose him, and you had to replace him with someone else, right? Like it's those type of things. And I
Right.
think that's what Zach Hyman is to this team. I don't think Morgan Riley's a guy you want to lose just based on culture and what he brings in that dressing room, and then play on the ice.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's one of those guys you're not too comfortable losing.
I think it all depends on what happens in the next year. But like
Yeah.
Riley could become an expendable piece based off of market value and how much he can get.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's a guy that you're just like, oh, we have to keep him. No matter the cost. It's the first negotiation that Dubas will have to do where he has to draw a line in the sand.
Mhm.
So we'll see. I think that the Morgan Riley hate's kind of ridiculous though, but
Stupid.
Yeah.
If you're saying trade Morgan Riley, you're wrong. Plain and simple, you're wrong. Use him better.
yeah.
Sure. But don't trade him.
So what was this on the NWHL brand?
So they suspended their season like 2 days before the playoffs were supposed to start because of COVID issues. It's kind of crazy to me because they're in a bubble, technically, like quote unquote bubble that like it's worked for every other league. I'm curious as to how you set up a bubble situation that didn't work. Like I'm not talking like one or two people here and there. Like this is now 2 teams had to drop out because of COVID, and then now they're just suspending the whole league, and like within like a 2-week period.
Yeah.
I as far as leagues go, like you know what, I'm here to support the NWHL. Like they're doing great things, but you got to be able to take the heat here and be like, what the fuck are you doing wrong right now? Because like there's obviously something in your bubble situation that's not right. Hopefully they get that figured out. It's only suspended right now. They haven't called it, but they were only a week away from, not even like 4 days away from the end of the thing anyways. So I don't know if you bring everyone back for 4 days.
So that's
They only have 4 now.
Well, that's the thing. You lose 2 of your teams. It's kind of hard
Mm-hmm.
to facilitate a league around that when a third of your franchises are stuck with COVID issues. So yeah, that's rough. Hate to see it.
It's strange to me because you set up this bubble system in order to limit COVID, and it did the complete opposite. Like what happened along the way that put you in a spot where this happened? Because no other league had issues with it. The NBA was fine. The NHL was fine. What happened here?
I think just the contingencies. It's harder. I you even saw it with the CFL, right? Like it was so hard for a league with so few teams to facilitate a good contingency in the event that COVID struck down on multiple teams at once. So
Yeah.
it's a growing
No, I
league.
get
I'm
that
they'll
for
bounce
sure, but, like,
back, but you hate
they've
to
only
see
been
it.
around. They've only been in this thing for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, not
Yeah.
even, not including quarantine time, I guess. But like,
Mm.
how did you screw this up so quick? Is my question. Like, at least the CFL, they didn't really have a spot where they could just like bubble for the entire season because it's hard. In football, you
Mhm.
only play once a week. Like, we're talking about the NWHL, they play like every night, and they broke the bubble in 2 weeks. Like, well, I don't know. I think obviously they set it up wrong. They should have done a better job of that, but they're learning. They'll figure it out. It's a tough time.
You hope so, because if you want to grow the game,
You
You
want
need
to
a
see them
league.
succeed.
You need a
I
league.
don't think there's anybody that doesn't want to see them succeed right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's
No, I
a
agree.
league that needs to happen, and if you're doing this, it's a little tough to keep this going.
there's a market inefficiency in
Mhm.
terms of the lack of a women's hockey league that is reputable, and you need the WHL to NWHL to.
Some of it is self-destructive in the sense that they had the two leagues and they were
Right.
they didn't want to
Mhm.
merge and they
Mhm.
had no interest in going with each other.
right.
So a little of it's on themselves, but you're at this point now where it's like, I don't know who you want to blame here, but you got to get something figured out.
Mhm.
That sucks.
Who do we have left? All right. Fred VanVleet breaks the record for most points scored by a Toronto Raptor last night against the Orlando Magic with
Mhm.
54. And he also breaks the
Yeah.
record for most points scored by an undrafted player. 52 was the previous record, or 53 by Moses Malone. Pretty good player.
Not bad.
It's really cool. Really cool.
Good
And
story.
he had the highest efficiency or real player shooting percentage of anyone to score more than 49 or 50 points ever. So that was
What was he?
dude was unreal.
17 of 23?
23. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, he should, like if he wanted to, and if the Raptors actually fed him, there's no reason he couldn't have went for like 70 last night. Honestly, like if you're dialed in like that.
I didn't realize the Raptors franchise high was that low. Like, when I saw that he broke the record, I was thinking it was like 60 something. I'm like, oh, and then I look it up, I'm like 54.
Mhm.
All right. I mean, that's cool for the undrafted thing. I think that's a cool record.
Yeah.
But the fact that the franchise low or high is still in the 50s.
I mean,
was like,
who
oh,
would have
that's-
got it though? Like,
You're right. They've never really had anyone.
yeah,
DeMar was the previous holder. So
right.
DeMar was their only ever pure scorer.
Yeah,
Obviously,
like
they had
Vince,
but
Vince
but
had
like
50,
he left.
right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he had a
And then
lot.
DeMar beat it with 52, and then Freddie.
Terrence
with
Ross had 51 or 50 in terms of
T.
most
Ross
likes.
was a wizard. I don't know what the hell happened.
He
That guy was just like so incredible.
could have been
like,
Tracy
one night of the year.
McGrady. He could have
Oh.
been, Terrence Ross.
Broke the ball clubs, but no idea. But when he showed up, whoo,
yeah,
guy put on a show. He won a dunk contest.
Human
did he
Torch.
not?
yeah.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Really cool moment. Super awesome. Kevin Durant, like he commented on a post of Van Fleet and the highlights on Instagram, and he said he commented all swishes because like he wasn't missing these shots were not hitting the rim. It was unbelievable. When you're hot, man. Dude was hot. The Raptors this year, I don't know, man. I think what was really cool was the moment after in the locker room of Lowry, like just congratulating him and stuff, and like the speech that he gave.
They're still an entertaining.
Right. It just leads me to the fact that like if Lowry wants to be here, then he should be here.
Mhm.
If Lowry wants to go, then
Let him go.
the Raptors should let him go. Exactly. It's not like a thing where you need to be shopping him at all. Like it's just you got to bide your time. Like it sucks that you're not one of the elite teams, but also like you could talk yourself into that. Like we had leads in so many different games.
This could be such a different season if they just didn't blow leads.
Exactly.
If they won every time they had a double-digit lead late,
Yep.
you're near the top of the conference.
Exactly.
And like I don't think they're that type of team.
Mm-hmm. I think
But
they lack the upper talent, but
Yeah, they're good enough.
There's no reason they're not a playoff team. But also the other half of me is just like,
I don't want to be that. I
Let's
don't want to be that
tank.
middle team.
Yeah. Masai did say he doesn't want to be stuck in the middle, and I'm like, well, you're not even in the middle, but you're good enough to be in the middle. So what are we gonna do here?
Our ceiling is the middle right now,
Yeah.
but our floor is not much lower.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Couple of Jay's notes before we get out of here. Did you see the news on them being interested in Yadier Molina?
I did.
I heard about
I'm
that.
intrigued. It's
interesting.
weird. It's weird, but I'm
interesting.
intrigued.
I think he's a more certainty than Danny Jansen.
Yep.
I think he has better defensive
because-
numbers, I think, than
yeah.
Danny Jansen. Offensively, like I don't hate the Yadier Molina type of player just because he's gonna hit like 270.
He was hitting like 290 in his heyday, but like he's not that anymore. Which is But hey, man, any guy of Yadi's stature and what
Would
he
be
can do
so
behind
cool
the
in
plate,
that room.
just to teach those guys
He'd
that
be
kind of
so
stuff,
good in that room.
it'd be great. It's kind of the
For
one
sure.
thing you're missing right now is like that veteran
Mhm.
presence of like
Mhm.
this guy knows what he's doing.
Give him
Like,
$10 million for the year. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Funny money.
I don't even know if he'd want that much at this
I think
point.
he would.
Maybe.
I think he could.
I
Because it's
think.
a certainty that he's basically going back to St. Louis. So just be like, give him an offer he can't refuse, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they
Yeah.
turn him down, they turn him down. Like he hit 262 last year with 303 on base. Not great, not unbelievable.
But it's his
like
defense that's always kept
he's
him in
better
the lineup.
defensively, but also like I like a 260 hitter more than Danny Jansen last year hit he hit 190, 179 or something.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna hit like 20 something bombs this year still,
That is
and
the
he has the
difference.
higher offensive upside. But I think the intangibles that Yadi can bring to the room would be really interesting to see.
Which I think would make Danny Jansen a better catcher by proxy.
The long term, yeah.
Like he's going to
Mhm.
teach Danny Jansen a lot of things that he
Mhm.
wouldn't learn on his own without him
Mhm.
there.
Yep.
And if it's only for a year or two, anyways, realistically, Danny
Mhm.
Jansen's a 208 hitter. That's
Mhm.
that's pretty.
Just a bit of news from Sportsnet. They said that at the moment, the Jays continue to examine options in both categories in terms of starting pitching and upside with stability. Paxton and Walker among the current considerations.
So they're not out on Walker, eh?
No, they appear to
feels
be
like-
they appear to be focused on shorter term acquisitions, which would then take them out of like Bauer, probably Odorizzi. I think I'm fine with if they get one of those two, I'm fine.
I don't think the short term is what takes you out of Bauer. I think the ridiculous cap hit takes you out of Bauer at this point because he's down to sign short term deals, but like
Mhm.
for 38 mil or whatever it is, you're not
Right.
doing that.
Mhm.
But I find it weird that we've gone this deep with Taiwan and still haven't struck a deal or something.
Mhm.
Like it's weird.
I think he's
don't-
a great fit. I do. And then
Considering
great.
he was there last year, wouldn't it
Yeah.
have made sense for them to have already come to a deal if he
I
wanted
think
to come
that
back?
he pitched above his head last year, but also like, wouldn't you want to take the shot and see, hey, maybe he is that?
This could be him. Like
Yeah.
especially with Pete Walker there, I think this could just be what he is.
Mhm.
He looked better in Toronto than he did in Seattle. It just could be
Mhm.
what he is. I don't
Mhm.
think that's the case. I think he's somewhere in the middle of the two.
Mhm.
But even the middle of those two is still a pretty good 2-3 guy,
No, absolutely.
which is better than the 4 or 5 guys that we already have,
Exactly.
including Francisco Liriano.
Who says you can't go? Who says you can't go home? Him and Chris Archer gone home. You know?
Hey,
Yo, Francisco Liriano was unreal in the Baltimore wildcard game. The
Huge,
Jays do
man.
not win that game.
huge.
With
No,
the Edwin bat drop without Francisco
no,
Liriano.
I agree. He was great.
I had
That
buddies
was a while
trolling
ago.
me. I had buddies trolling me. They're like, "Hey, is this the Francisco L that you wanted on the Jays?" I was just like, "Go fuck yourself."
Obviously, that was our main target the entire
Francisco
time.
Liriano. That's the guy we wanted all
Yeah.
along.
I don't know why everyone got Lindor put in the mix. It was Liriano
Who?
the entire time.
Who?
Way
Who?
cheaper.
Yeah.
Way cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not working. He's not on a team that has some issues of their own.
Yeah.
Do we want to mention Mickey Callaway at all?
I mean, sure. So it was said that it would come out why Bauer didn't want to sign with the Angels, and it's because Mickey Callaway is there, who has been accused of sending 5 individuals over the years. What was it exactly?
I don't really know exactly what he sent, but I know there was some sexually suggestive messages
Yeah.
that he sent to 5 different reporters over the course of his time in New York. New York is having a time.
Yeah.
Like your former employee does that. The guy you hired over the winter
5
also got
women
fired for
detail
the same
lewd,
reason.
unwanted advances from Mickey Callaway spanning at least 5 years.
Right.
That is the
Go Mets.
it's ridiculous that like the Mets, they're just like Steve Cohen said this would never happen under my franchise. Well, guess what? You literally just hired fucking dirtbag like
Yep.
Jared. What was his name? Jared from Subway. You just hired.
Same criminal rap sheet. In fairness.
I mean,
Mhm.
different levels of pieces of shit, but still a piece of shit.
Yikes.
Just ridiculous, man. Just
What a franchise.
and then for the Angels just be like, all right, we'll put him on suspension until we have an investigation. Like, okay, fine, whatever.
They fired him, didn't they?
No, they
Eventually.
I think they put him on or
thought
who
they-
Walsh or
No,
Jared?
what's his name? Callaway.
No, I think they put him on suspension.
Mickey Callaway. Oh, you're right. Suspended.
Yep.
What the fuck? Great. Hate to see it. That's why the Angels are trash.
Yeah. Mike Trout chose to stay
Leave.
with that organization.
Fucking find a clause in your contract and go somewhere.
Hey, what about if the Jays trade Tanner Roark for David Price?
I
know
heard
Andrew Stoughton, your favorite
Noted.
Jays writer.
blocked me on Twitter, man.
I think for
Andrew
good
Stoughton.
reason. From that,
don't
the
know
one that
what-
you did, I think it's a very good reason.
He tweets stupid shit. There's a reason he got fired from the Athletics because he's not
Jesus
good.
Christ.
That's all I said.
Oh God,
I think
do
that's
not
what got me
agree
blocked.
with Brant. I would totally be here for Tanner Roark for David Price. Like you pay the $10 million more for David Price. Who gives a shit? You got an actual legit pitcher.
Still be a
Is
3
he
guy.
starting nowadays, or is he coming out of the pen?
He's starting, but he's
Yeah.
He didn't
took
play.
last
He
year
didn't
off.
pitch. Yeah,
No,
took
he
last
opted
year
out
off.
last year, didn't
Yeah.
he?
he's still a starter. He's still a bona fide MLB starter. He can be a 3 guy. I don't know if he's what he
He has
used to
a
be.
2.4 WAR over the last 2 years
It's good.
Wow.
in 19 and 18.
Years
So,
he actually played.
Yeah.
Which he was hurt for one of them, wasn't he?
yeah, in the last year, which he was unreal in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had a 2.4 ERA. He had a 4.28 ERA, but 2.4 WAR in only 107 innings. Like,
It's pretty good.
take that any day.
hmm
And I just want to say that I told you so, Brant. That Chris Archer is back. Thank you very much.
I hope he does well there. I think that's a cool spot for him. I think
No
coming back to
reason he
Tampa
won't.
Bay-
Honestly,
I hated playing him back when he was good. Hopefully he stays okay.
I legitimately have no reason to believe that why Chris Archer won't be good. Honestly, I
Sucked 2 years ago.
I forget everything that happened in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
You know, there's
We'll
just
see.
bullshit that happens in Tampa Bay that they just make players good.
They are wizards.
Yeah.
They
So-
make mountains out of molehills. It's fucked.
Right. But I think that's it for this week, right, boys?
I think so.
Yeah.
There's a new celebrity boxing match that just came out.
Oh, really?
Lamar Odom
Okay.
will be fighting
Everyone in the
noted tough guy, musician,
Mm.
singer,
Mm.
Aaron Carter.
Excuse me. I think there's a bit of a reach
Nick
advantage
Carter
there.
of the Backstreet Boys brother, Aaron Carter, will be fighting Lamar Odom. Apparently,
That's okay.
that's all I got. That's what I saw pop up in my Twitter feed. So,
Imagine. That's not very fair.
nope,
I love
doesn't seem
celebrity.
like it.
Love celebrity boxing matches. They're all so great. So technically sound.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't have anything to say.
There's nothing to say on that. That's just
It's a joke. What do you want me to say? But
maybe
that's
one
gonna
day
do
we'll
it.
maybe one day we'll stop with this. Maybe.
Yeah. That's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week. We're gonna know the winner of the Super Bowl, and that'll be fun.
Yeah.
See you guys. Peace. Go Tom Brady.